up, y'all? This is DJ Mars. I just want y'all to know that life is a journey and not a destination, all right? So enjoy the 411 session. Let me grab a seat. If I sit down, is that cool? Yeah. Okay. Not that I'm nervous or anything. I am, but you know, I'm not like I'm not. First of all, thanks for inviting me to the situation. And my story is a cool one. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm dead serious. This is really cool. Like he stated, I graduated from Clark, Atlanta, got to school in 1991. I graduated in 96. I'll explain that year. I'm sure you're like, that's 5 years. What the hell was he doing? When I first got to Clark, my intentions was to be a student, graduate, and go on to the general workforce. I knew that there were DJs out there, but I didn't know that I can become the DJ that I currently am. I didn't know that DJs could make money off of their craft. I knew that they did. I knew that the Kid Capri's of the world existed. I knew the Jazzy Jeffs existed, the Terminator Actors existed. But I didn't know that was out there for me. When I came to Clark at that time, the music industry in Atlanta was nowhere what it is right now. The epicenter of hip hop in Atlanta came from this campus, came from Clark, it came from Morehouse, Mo Brown, and Spelman. And I'll define that in terms of the party scene, the hip hop party scene in Atlanta came from the energy of the students, myself, my friends, and other people on campus and whatnot. But I didn't know that it was going to morph the city the way that it did. All that to say that, like I said in the beginning, I came down here to be a student. And the things that happened to me after I became a student, it was just amazing. So my concentration was radio, TV, and film. That's what I studied right here in this building. I actually had a class in this particular room right here. So this is really cool for me to be full circle to come back in here. 4 years was my schedule. The mystery year that I mentioned a second ago, that year was taken up by the fact that my first music industry job, I toured with Usher. I was Usher's first tour DJ on his first album. And I think that was in '93. So basically I was out of school for a year. That's why I graduated in '96. But that particular opportunity led to the opportunities that I have now, and that kind of put me in a position that I'm in right now. But none of that, and this is going to sound very cliche, so you don't take it wrong, but none of that would have happened if I wasn't in school. Like, the reason that I have the attention that I do in Atlanta is because I became a popular DJ on campus, and that's a part of the amazing story that I was alluding to in the beginning. When I first started DJing here in Atlanta, the DJ scene in Atlanta was nothing like the scene where I'm originally from. I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts, and back then, if you went to a party, it was because of the DJ. If you turned on a radio station, it was because of the DJ. If you bought a mixtape, it was because of the DJ. That energy didn't exist down here. So when I first got down here, my thought process was, I need for this to be like how I had it back home. Like if you turn on any radio station, it was because so-and-so was DJing, not the call letters. I didn't care about the call letters. I cared about the DJ. So I wanted to create an environment that was relative to the one that I grew up with back home. And that's when me and my team started to put things in motion that helped us later on. Me and my crew of DJs, we were the first DJs. I don't know if they do this on campus now, but if they do, we started it. And I don't mean that in a braggadocious way, it's the truth. We were the first DJs to DJ during dinner. We used to do it at cafeteria on main campus. So that whole trend of having a DJ DJing while you were eating dinner started from us, and that helped build our legacy on campus. That helped us create our fan base, and that put us in the position that we are currently in. That pioneering movement paved the way for myself, it paved the way for other DJs behind me that went to Clark, like Drama, Don Cannon, and since those DJs followed the footsteps that we created, we didn't create them thinking that it was going to lead to this movement, it just happened. Thank God, because it put me, like I said, in the position that I'm currently in. So I go to Clark, and a lot of my friends on campus end up being music industry giants later on, and I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. Shaka Zulu, who is Ludacris's manager and business partner, was in college at the same time I was. He's a good friend of mine from the early 90s. He part owner in DTP, and that relationship was born right here on campus. Poom, who used to be Ludacris's co-host on 107.9, was a classmate of mine in this classroom, this very classroom right here. That relationship came from campus. Brian Barber, video director, directed several videos for Outkast. He directed the movie Autobile for Outkast. Was a classmate of mine, not in this particular class, but in this particular building. Those are friendships and relationships that I've had since the 90s that I still have now, and I still rely on to get things that I want to get done. So when I made the statement like my journey has been amazing, because I got to meet people like that before they were who they are now, and it was dope, like just going to class, grinding out with these people, and watching them grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And now we're all to a point that we can put money in each other's pockets, we can lean on each other for advice, but all of that energy for us came from this campus right here. So trust me, it's super special that I'm able to have some weight to my name and then come back and talk to you guys, because if it wasn't for I know these other schools, there's Mo Brown, Morehouse, Spelman, but it was a special energy that was created right here, like that really laid the groundwork, the foundation for what the Atlanta music scene is today. So I just appreciate the opportunity to be here, to tell the story, however important it is or isn't, or whatnot. So the second half of my journey, after I graduated Clark, is I ended up basically being the tour DJ for any major R&B artist coming out of Atlanta. Started out with Usher was first. I'm not sure who's second, so I'll just run down the line my client list. Usher, Monica, Keri Hilson, Neyo, Sierra, and Khalees. And all of that came from my popularity on campus, and then that spread to what I went on to do in the nightclubs. The second half of my career has taken me all over the globe. Like we was talking outside, opportunity to go to Africa 10 times. And it was by way of the turntables. I didn't know in 1991 that opportunity was going to be brought forth to me. I didn't know it. So to be able to experience the things that I had by way of, like I said, the turntables and my relationships with people here on campus is just amazing. As a veteran DJ, I figured out a way to take my energy from the turntables and slide into another business. Currently, right now, I'm working on starting a small branding agency called, my full name is Marshall Thomas, so my branding agency is called the Marshall Branding Agency. One of my clients is New Balance. When you see me 10 times out of 10, I have on a pair of New Balance. I was able to put that relationship into effect by way of what I learned from traveling. So not only was I traveling and having fun on tour, I was able to travel and learn and take some of that knowledge and use it for my business. I'm not going to be the 60-year-old DJ in the club, so I had to think of, for lack of a better term, a plan B. But the plan B came from my marketing class that I had in '95. So I'm relating all of the great and cool things that I was able to do in my life and my career to the things that I learned right here on campus. And it was, like I said, you know, I know teachers always tell you, you know, what we're teaching you is super important, you're going to use it later on. That's, for me anyway, that statement is extremely true. From the application of what I learned in the class, my relationships to my friends, the popularity we had on campus, how we turned that into a DJ business, all of that came from the energy right here. So I'm extremely proud of the fact that I'm here to talk to you guys. I'm extremely proud of the fact that I not only went to college, I graduated, and I'm extremely proud of the fact that I'm a 40-year-old DJ and I'm still relevant. But all of that was made possible for the groundwork that was laid right here at CAU. So I'm happy. I mean, I don't want to talk for 2 hours about what I've been doing, and so if you guys have any questions, I will definitely be glad to answer.
Hi, my name is Siobhan.
Thank you, Siobhan.
Well, I would say you're definitely one of the very few people in the industry, if you will, who have actually said that school has helped them in a sense. So would you say that, like, have you ever thought about maybe going back for something, or are you content with where you're at right now?
Now, actually, I thought about it. About, let's say, 2.5 years ago when I decided to start a marketing firm, I thought to myself, I know what's hot in the streets, and I know how to sell you guys certain things. Like, I know how to promote a party, but I don't know how to speak the corporate language. That's one thing I don't know because I don't work in a corporate environment. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to go back to school and get a secondary degree so I can speak that corporate language, because I don't know that. And not knowing it would hinder me in terms of my marketing, my branding agency, taking that a step further. So I definitely know I need to go back and read another book or two. I'll tell you that off top. Anybody else?
My name is Dr. Bullock. I'm a professor in the film department. I just want to say first off, I really appreciate you coming back and saying some very vital things, especially some things that you supplement, some things that we tell them every day, especially about the importance of education. Because I was fortunate enough to work in the industry first and then go to the classroom, but I can say I wouldn't be able to impart to them had I not done it just like the way you're doing it. So I try to let them know, you know, a lot of them are kind of like derailed with the idea of staying in school or just trying to get into the industry, and I try to, you know, convey the importance of staying in school, and I just really appreciate you emphasizing that, because I think that really helps out a lot.
Helps all day. I'll tell you the one point in my career where I used what I learned in class to benefit DJ Mars. It was, let's say the year was 95, I'm just gonna pick a year. And there was a show on BET, used to come on every night, let's say 6:30 to 7:30. It was called Planet Groove. I don't know if any of y'all remember that. Rachel was the host. It was like a little video show, right? So this particular season, on Mondays, they were featuring DJs. So the first episode of season, whatever it was, Kid Capri was featured. So I'm watching it, and I remember Rachel's like, yeah, you know, each and every Monday we have live DJs in the studio. Up next, we got DJ Kid Capri. So I'm sitting here like, yo, I gotta get on the show. So I watched the entire show, then I watched the credits. It's real simple, but had I not gone to school to learn to know these are the people that you need to, these are the names of the titles rather, that you need to look for, I would have never done it. So it was the school's knowledge that said to myself, yo, watch the end of the show, see who the talent coordinator is, see who the producer is, and I forgot whatever the other title was. So I watched the whole show, and I saw whoever the talent coordinator was, who the segment producer was, and I found those two names. Let's say the name was Mike Jones and Keisha Jackson. So I saw those two names, I put together in my bio, sent 2 packages to BET up in DC, one to Mike Jones, one to Keisha Jackson, whatever their name was. All right. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call back saying, yo, we got your package. By the time we got your package, we filled up 90% of the season, but we have an opening slot for you. You can do the last show you can do the last show of the first half of the season. So basically, we'll put you on in December. But my shot in the dark worked, and it worked because I knew in class that these people with these titles are responsible for booking this person. It just so happened that that person was me. So that was instant gratification in terms of applying what I knew from school into DJ Mars the student to Marshall Thomas the student to DJ Mars the talent. So like I said, man, without that, I wouldn't be where I am now. All the other DJs before me, who performed on that show were New York-based DJs. I was the first DJ from the South, so to speak, to get on the show, and it was because of what I learned in school. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm just gonna wait to see who the talent coordinator is, and I'm sending that person my package. It's a small step, but it worked. And it was from what I learned in this building right here.
What would you say was the most fruitful and beneficial experience you had going to Clark-Atlanta University in terms of working in the industry? You seem like you did a lot of DJing while you were in school. What do you say would be the most fruitful and beneficial experience, and why?
I don't know if there's one, if there's one thing. I think the decision after touring with Usher to come back to school, like that opportunity, a lot of people would have just left. The grass was definitely greener over there than it was over here. A lot of people would have been like, I made it, I'm on tour with Usher. But I didn't do that. So I think the most beneficial thing was to decide to come back to college and finish. My mother sent me down here to graduate, and that's what I did. So I would say that decision to come back after an opportunity, because most people would be like, hell, I'm kicking free now, but I need to come back to Clark. I brought my butt back.
Hello, I'm Demisha Jackson.
Hey.
Our motto is, I'll find a way or make one.
Exactly.
Can you talk about a situation where that motto really did speak to you personally, and how do you apply that to overcome a struggle?
Oh man, I got a gazillion of those, but I'll tell you one on top. When I left school to go on tour, something happened with my paperwork. I don't remember, but after the first 2 years that I left, and in between that gray period that I was on the road, my paperwork for financial aid was lost. So after the first 2 years, let's say I was ineligible for financial aid. So what I did was I said, yo, all this DJ money that I'm making, hell, I gotta use it to pay for school, because I wasn't getting financial aid anymore, whatever, grant, all that stuff. So I busted my butt. And he'll tell you, I would DJ in the clubs 3-4 nights a week. I remember this one year, I forget the exact year, I had an 8 o'clock class, but I would get out of the club at 4 in the morning. And the 8 o'clock class was only offered on Friday. So it wasn't like you can miss it and then make it up. No, you missed, one day is equivalent of 2 weeks. So I would bust my butt in the clubs. At my second job, I worked at a restaurant making sandwiches, and my whole thing was I gotta graduate. So for 2 years, I paid for Clark-Atlanta University out of my pocket because I couldn't get financial aid. Like, when I say out of my pocket, it was these pockets. It wasn't my mother's, it wasn't my father's, it was my pockets. So I found a way to make it.
So when you started at this institution, what were your objectives?
Originally, I wanted to create content for television. Like, I came up in an era, Arsenio Hall was big when I was in high school, and he seemed like the cool guy to model your career after if you wanted to get in TV. Obviously, we had, Bill Cosby with the Cosby Show, and we had Spike Lee with the movies, but it was something about Arsenio Hall, like I felt like he controlled his own destiny. And I didn't really know, other than what I saw of him on television. It just seemed like, he was the man, so I was like, I want to do content creation for TV, like I want to come up with my own sitcoms, whatnot, possibly own my own network. Yeah, I was a DJ at the time, but I think the bigger picture in my mind was content creation. So really, I was patterning myself after what I thought our city hall was. And that was my goal. The DJ thing happened and I ran with it, but my initial movements was content creation.
Okay, so I'm Janika Johnson, by the way. I'm a journalism major here at Clark. So I guess my question is, you made it clear that back in '91 or '95ish, in that time frame, the entertainment, I'll categorize it as the entertainment industry. It wasn't as large as it is now in Atlanta. Like, you kind of like made it into what it is. Now coming into that, it proves harder for us to make our way through it, simply because it's grown so large. So I mean, like, if I'm putting in all the footwork, you know what I mean, it's to a point now where I'm tired of doing it on campus and I want to expand. How would you suggest the best ways to do that?
Well, you can't get tired of campus. Like, this is a step that you have to go through. It's like a college kid, a college football player being tired of playing for Georgia Tech. Like, you can't do that. You have to go through this. Like, this is just something you have to go through it. I think when you speak on generations, the difference between generations is, it is going to sound condescending, and I do not mean it. Like, from what I get from this generation is, you guys want everything first, like, you guys aren't patient. Like, you have to, this is a necessary step. It's necessary for a million reasons. One of the reasons is you're gonna build your future database from these people right here. But if you negate this step, how are you gonna, let's say this guy ends up being a CEO, and I'm not saying you personally, I'm just answering your question. Let's say this guy ends up being the CEO of Fox News Network, and you leave here early to get in the workforce. You give up the opportunity to meet this guy who later down the line will possibly hire you or whatever based on your relationship here. So the 4 years that you're down here for, use them. Like, there's no need to rush through this. I mean, that's the best answer I can give you.
With that, what if I said half of these people in this room I came in contact with before the end of my sophomore year? You know what I mean? This is my 4th year here at Clark. Before the end of my sophomore year, I'm coming in contact at least once with almost everybody in this room.
Find some more people. There's 30, find 30 more. Like, this is a process that I feel like you have to, especially when you're trying to get to the other side, you have to go through. There's no reason to rush through this. This isn't the NBA where if you're a all-star freshman, you're gonna go from being a freshman to a rookie in the NBA. No, this is 4 years that you have to go through. It's my 2 cents. I know we got one more question.
Can you tell me about, like, when you were here, how was your circle? You said, you and your friends or what have you guys pretty much, in a sense, ran the campus in a way, and like you got your start here and then you kind of spread out. So can you tell me about your circle of people who are around you, who got you grounded, and how important that was to you back then and today?
Well, this wasn't by design, so I'm not gonna act like I did it on purpose. Like, I just surrounded myself with people who were moving in the direction that I was. He'll tell you my circle of friends are a bunch of DJs. And I don't know where you guys party now, but it's DJs that are doing a lot of things, major things. I just put myself around people who had the same energy that I did. And I categorize that as forward moving. Like, my friends, all my circle of friends, they weren't the guys who didn't go to class. They were the guys and the girls who did go to class. So I just made sure, me personally, I was around people that were moving up. Because that's what I wanted to be. I want to be at the top. So I made sure my team was people who were moving towards the top. Even if I was the last one in that crew, I made sure I was moving and they were moving. I'm getting it. Okay, I have one last question.
I have a question, because I'm part of the radio station here on campus, and I know a lot of people have told me, I've heard in
Well, and it's kind of hard to answer in a sense. Are they speaking for the radio station or the campus?
The campus.
Well, music is just different. It's just a different generation. So, you know, what I experienced in the 90s isn't going to be what you guys experienced in the 90s. And so maybe the person who made that statement to you was someone who has an affinity for what was going on in the 90s. That's because it's definitely different, but the difference is based on the generation's taste at the time.
Maybe I want to say, what were some of the things that you all done, like events or things like that you all had in the past that made students want to come out?
Man, concerts. Concerts in the gym, whether it was homecoming, Tupac concert, or homecoming, I forget the year. KRS-One, we had Jay-Z, was at Spelman. This is early, this is before he was the Jay-Z that he is now. So we had concerts that spoke directly to the students' musical taste. I had nothing to do with it, but that's what was going on. So maybe that's what they're referring to. I think as far as questions, I think I'm kind of at the end.
DJ party